So this is the key takeaway post, my episode titled Inside the Mind of a Competitor. And what we're going to talk about in this episode is what is the mindset, or what do you need to be able to do in order to perform at your best, no matter what type of competition you're doing. What's the optimal recipe for high performance? And before I get into it, I just want to say that performance is not just for athletes. I would say it's for general population as well. I love the karate approach to these things. In karate they say, karate is not about victory nor defeat, but rather the perfection of character. Or, another one I like to say is the opponent is just a distraction. The real battle is against oneself. When you go to compete, it's an opportunity for self-mastery. It's an opportunity to expose your weaknesses, to face your challenges head on. Oftentimes when you go into competition, you figure out the things that are your personal setbacks, and then you have to overcome them in order to succeed, or in order to be able to perform at your highest level. The other big thing is that athletes tend to develop what I like to call an athlete's intuition. So you just develop this relationship with your body, because when you go deep with something, when you compete, you have to train often, and when you train often, you're going deep with this thing, and when you do, you build this relationship with your body, whether it's listening to the sensations and the messages that come from your body, understanding pain threshold and what you're actually capable of, and developing confidence. But the relationship with your body gets better when you go deep with things, in particular when you go deep with something physical. So two big things that I like for general population is competition can help you on your journey to self-mastery, and it can help you develop a better relationship with your body. So back to the mindset, or the optimal recipe to perform at your highest level. Keep one thing in mind here. The recipe that I give does not guarantee that you will win. The recipe guarantees that you will perform at your highest, or the best that you could have. And when you go into a competition, you have to think in that way, because the only thing that you can do is perform at your best. You can't expect anything more than that. Just how can I get as close to my best performance as possible? And then whoever I go against, it is what it is. It's just going to unfold the way that it unfolds. But the thing that I have that's in my control is to be able to help myself to reach my peak. So that's the ultimate goal in a lot of this is, it's not, obviously you want to win. But at a certain point, you have to let go of the thought of winning and losing. You have to let go of the idea of holding on to any outcome, and you have to invest more in the things that you have control over, which is your ability to perform at your highest level. When I did the episode with Sakura, she said you have to control the controllables, and I really love that, because when you go into a competition, there's all these things that are going to distract you. You have the audience that might distract you. You have your coach that you're thinking about that you don't want to let down. You have your, again, that you want to win. And, maybe this is competition in a sport, but maybe this is competition in life. And this could mean something a little more, more serious. Do I get the job or do I not? Do I eat or do I not eat? This competition can also have some links to life and death or survival. I'm sure it's deeply rooted in a lot of our DNA. The essence of competition is that you have two individuals competing for one resource, and there's no shareable outcome. So there are some instances where that might have been life or death in ancient times, and even still to today. But the goal here is I cannot focus on that outcome. Even though the outcome matters and the outcome is important, and I'm going into this competition trying to win, at a certain point I have to let go of that, and I have to give more of my attention to my best performance, and maybe putting myself in arenas that might be more fit for me. But how am I going to get myself to reach my highest potential? And there's two big things that we want to do in order to be able to perform at our best. And when we get into that arena, we want to be able to be in the present moment, and we want to be on autopilot. And what do I mean by that? So whenever I embark on a competition, the first thing I do is I think about what is the arena I'm competing in and what are the things I'm going to encounter in that arena. Then what I do is I do a little strategic planning and I think about how do I want to react to those things I'm going to encounter. If this was a kickboxing match, I know I'm going to encounter a jab, so what do I want to do when that jab comes? I have to then train my responses, and I have to train them tirelessly. I have to train them again and again. In the martial arts, they say it has to seep into your bones, and I love that saying because, you know, your bones are probably the most resistant part of you. If you think about, you know, after we're all long gone, you know, the thing that will be the most resistant and still around is probably your bones. And, you know, think about fossil records and things like that. So what it's saying is one of the deepest parts of you that will last the longest. We're going to train so hard that it even lives there. It's a little poetic, but the training has to be so much that now this thing just happens on autopilot. And when I get to game day, what I then do is I relax my mind. I let go of the distractions. I don't think about the audience, the outcome, the winning, any of those things. I have to be fully present in just this moment right here. And then I have to let myself play out in autopilot. And that right there is going to be the thing that brings me my best performance. So a couple other little strategies you can think about is when you're, you know, there on game day and you notice that you start to get lost in your mind, there's a couple things that maybe can help reground you again. One, you can focus on what's in the room and you can focus on your senses. Focus on what you see. Focus on what you can feel and touch. Maybe take off your shoes and put your feet on the ground. Focus on your breathing and the sensation of air going in and out. Focus on what you hear. If you're outdoors, if you're inside, maybe go outdoors and try to listen to hear the birds chirp or the wind flowing by, or right. So I'm focusing on what or things that are here in this present moment, and I'm giving my attention to those things. When I notice that I start to think about, again, oh man, what's gonna happen if I win, if I lose? Recenter myself, reground myself, touch something, slow down my breathing, give my attention to those things that are in the present room. And in particular, the sensations that help to put you in an optimal state, because, you know, technically the audience is in the room, but I don't really want to give them my attention. Technically my opponent might be in the room, but I don't want to give him too much attention either. But I want to focus on things that are going to keep me calm, but also awake. Because I want to be relaxed, but ready. I want to be smooth, but sharp. I want to be calm, but ready to react. So I don't want to be so calm that I fall asleep, right? But I want to be able to be awake as well. I think about it almost like waking up in the morning, right? You kind of wake up, your eyes start to open, maybe you start to hear what's going on. Again, you feel your feet on the ground, you start to, you know, sense things that are in the room, and it's more of an awakening, and you are starting to pay attention to the specific things that you want to pay attention to, and you give your attention to those things. If I told you right now, I want you to try and listen and hear birds chirping in the room, right? You're kind of becoming a little more awake because you're trying to look for this thing. So it's not just that I want you to pay attention to your senses, but I also want you to look for specific senses that are going to put you in an optimal state. It's not just about passively giving attention to those senses, it's about actively looking for and paying attention to those senses. And that's what you want to do right before your competition. So, or before you go out there. And then let it all go and be on autopilot. But one or two other strategies that can help you to do that, because, you know, it's a little easier to say to do those things, and then sometimes it can be harder to do in the moment. But some things that might make it a little bit easier to do is, one, I already mentioned about training tirelessly. Make sure you practice hard. It's going to be easy to let go and trust my body and autopilot when I practiced hard. If I didn't practice hard, it's going to be hard to do that. Understanding that being in the present moment is going to give you your best results is also important and makes it easy to let go. Because, you just think about any competition. If you have to think about it while you're in the arena, majority of the time you're probably going to be delayed, or you're probably going to react awkwardly. I've seen it, many times where the individual is nervous and they either move too fast or they move too slow. I think about like a hunter almost, right? The hunter might get excited and when they see the prey, and then they shoot too soon, and then they just scare the animal runs. Or they get too nervous and they don't shoot at all, and then the animal gets away. And there has to be this perfect window of opportunity where it's not too much and not too little, and you go right at the exact moment that you need to. But by having control of your emotions and being in that present moment, you're going to react appropriately. You're also going to be able to flow what's there. You're not going to try to fit a square peg in a round hole. Let's take, for example, a football player. A football player might have a play where he's supposed to run to the right side and the opening's created that way. But for some reason, in the heat of the moment, someone does the wrong thing and the right side isn't open, but the left side is. Then in that moment, he's going to have to kind of just react and go the other way. So, you need to be able to be in the moment for the opportunity to have good reaction time, and also to have some flexibility to be able to see the situation for what it is and react appropriately to the situation that is in front of you. So being in that present moment is going to give you your best performance. So understanding that also helps you to, again, let go of that outcome. So as a quick recap, when it's game day, you don't want to overthink. You want to be in the present moment. You want to be able to flow. You want to be able to be on autopilot. You had to have trained so hard that your responses just happen. They happen appropriately to whatever environment is in front of you. You're able to have some flexibility, and you're able to react in a timely manner because you practice hard and you're now just here in this moment. That was one of my big takeaways that I got from the episode. Another little gem that Sakuda gave is about having routines. Previous to a competition, no matter how many times you tell yourself don't think about the outcome, or this will always be a thing that happens. It's just like meditation. Say meditation isn't really about not thinking, it's more about refocusing your attention. So meaning you're in that meditation and we want you to focus on your breathing, but then your mind drifts and you think about what you wanted to eat for dinner, but then you have to refocus your attention back to your breath. Meditation is not supposed to be an absence of thoughts. It's more so that when those thoughts and distractions come, you recenter your attention. And it's the same thing here. The thoughts are gonna come where you start thinking about the outcome, or you think about the audience, or you think about all the distractions, and you have to refocus your attention back on that present moment. And so routines are just another thing that can help you to do that, because the chaos will come, or when you're feeling a bit chaotic or anxious or worried, a routine can help bring the stability to that situation. A routine is something you know well. Maybe for example, when I eat this thing, this is how I feel. When I play this song, this is how I feel. When I watch this movie, right? Or, how do I want to enter the arena? Do I like to walk in a little early? Do I like to be right on time? Do I like to, have your routines that you, have your routines set up, and, rely on your routines, especially when things start to get a little chaotic. So I love that piece as well. But I hope you got some gems from this episode, and I hope you tune in to the full-length episode as well. Good to see you all.